A lot of people are there who download Unity, use the prefabs, put in a shooter, and say I made a game. So it's not really a game. You basically made a level in which you can run around shooting.
Are you a B.Tech? It's possible that you've done a B.Tech, you're doing a B.Tech, or you're going to do a B.Tech, but what you really want is to be a game programmer. You want to make video games, but you don't know how to do it. What course do you do? Do you do a course? What game do you make? How do you find a team? How do you actually get a job as a game programmer? Now, today, on the Gamer to Make a Helpline, I'm going to be talking to Chanukya. He called me because he was lost exactly like that. And believe it or not, after talking to me, he actually got a job. And that was awesome. He wrote to me, sent me a message in Discord, and here it is on the screen. So if you watch right till the very end, and if you pay attention, you can also have your dreams of becoming a game programmer come true. And don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe button, and that bell icon. Also follow me on Instagram. That is where I post lots of great content, tips, tricks, hacks, and lots of content which has to do with game design, game development. Next, be a part of the Gamer to Make a Discord community, because that is where we have an awesome bunch of people who want to make video games, who learn from each other, and we also have free classes on lots of game development topics. So I'll see you there. Also, lastly, if you're interested in game design, game development, making a game project, getting a portfolio ready, and being ready for the game industry, check out gamertomaker.com. The link is in the description of this video. So let's get to the helpline. Let's get talking to Chanukya. Let's go.
Welcome. We have with us Chanukya. Tell us about yourself and tell us about how can I help you?
Actually, I have completed my B.Tech last year. Actually, I have some interest in game development. And when I completed my B.Tech, I was looking to join into game industry for game development, and I am good at game programming.
Okay.
And I learned C sharp. But when I went for developing games, I have faced some issues like 3D modeling, UI and UX design, and audio, and all those. I mean, it is very difficult for me to handle those all, as I'm not good at that. I am a B.Tech CSE student, so I'm good at programming, how to get into game industry, like how to get jobs, and what is the scope in India, and all.
Where are you? Where are you from? Like, where do you live?
I am from Visakhapatnam,
Okay. So
Andhra
Chanukya,
Pradesh.
firstly, you don't need to know everything, right? To get
Yeah.
started. Now, the other thing I want to ask you, what are you looking at? Are you looking at getting a job in a company, or are you looking at becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own studio? What exactly is it that you want to do in your career?
Mm, Actually, I wanted to get the job first, but when I am searching for that, it feels like it is difficult to get a job in game company in India. Like there are very less opportunities, less companies, less startups in India, and I thought of making a team, like 2 to 3 members who can help me, and start a studio like something, and go with it.
Okay. So, thing is, um, have you worked on any game projects?
Yeah, I have completed 2 to 3 good projects, and some basic games also.
Okay. So you did this all on your own?
Yeah, I have done everything on my own.
Okay. And did you release these games?
No, I presently I am working on a game. I thought of releasing it in Play Store
Okay.
soon.
Here's the thing. It's very much possible. In fact, I'm not sure how come you are having difficulty, because there are many companies which are specifically asking for game programmers such as yourself. Okay. And to be honest, you have some experience. You have actually made some games. The only problem is that you have not released those games. What genre, like what kind of games did you make?
Mm, One game is like a shooter game, FPP shooter, and another
Is it
is
for
a
mobile?
not exactly. I have developed in Unity, so I have directly made it on WebGL.
Right. So basically, it's kind of like a Unity level in which there's some shooting, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's okay. That's a Unity level. That's kind of like a practice. That's a practice level in Unity. That's not really a game, to be honest. Okay. A lot of people are there who download Unity and kind of use the use the prefabs, put in a shooter, and say I made a game. So it's not really a game. You basically made a level in which you can run around shooting, essentially. So I would not say
yeah,
that is a game. So there, if you want to get a job as a game programmer, Chanukya, you have to do some work. You have to have some work experience, which means that you have to actually make a game. Right now, a game is something that you can release. Now, if you just release a level like that on the Play Store, people will say like, "What is this? This is not. This is just you running around and shooting." So, game needs to be kind of like complete, right?
yeah.
Also, what I want to know is what kind of games do you play?
Presently, I am playing Valorant in PC. Genre like strategy games.
Right. So, and when you are trying to make games, are you trying to make games in the same area that you like?
Like I play mainly multiplayer games, and these are I don't have experience in making multiplayer games, so I make a normal, clean, and good
Right.
games.
So, I see. Here's the thing I would say. So, if you are playing multiplayer games, if you're playing shooter games and all that, that's great. You know, but you are not going to find work making games like that, at least in the beginning. For the first few
Yeah,
years, you're not going to find work making games that you play. So I would suggest that you concentrate, if you play games, that's fine, but concentrate on something small, like a small mobile game. Not even a shooter, it can be a platformer, it could be a 3D runner, it could be a top down shooter, something small. Okay, hyper casual game, something like that. That is what you
yeah,
need to
yeah.
make. So instead of
Arcade games.
instead of making these kind of like one level game in which 3D shooter, which is basically kind of like a Unity level, don't do that. Leave that aside and actually make a game which is like a small mobile game. Don't go for like Clash of Clans or anything. Make like in maybe like a Flappy
Yeah.
Bird clone in which you can shoot, or something very simple, or a platformer or a runner or something like that with a few levels. Okay.
Mm,
Ideally, it would be nice if you can get a team, like you said, get a team in which you can find somebody who can do a little bit of art for you, somebody who can do a
yeah.
little bit of design and all that kind of thing, right? And release it. So the only way, firstly, you have to learn how to make games. You have to have some experience, and the only way of learning how to make games is to actually make games. Okay, that's one thing. So if you can make two or three games, don't make anything big, make two or three small games, right? Make a platformer, make an endless runner, make a level based game, platform, simple platform game in which you have to run, collect a few things, something simple. Make something like that.
Mm,
Okay, ideal would be if you can get somebody to make some art for you. Otherwise, worst come worse, even if you do it with Unity assets, it's okay. But release that game, put it out on the App Store. The idea is even if you get 100 downloads, okay, and of
yeah.
those 100 downloads, 10 people give you some feedback, that's very good. Okay,
Okay.
it shows
Yeah.
that you understand the process of game development a little bit, and
Yeah.
then you can actually reach out and but you should not just make complete clones of something. There has to be some understanding from the process. You have to do something
Yeah.
which is your
Something
own,
on your own. Yeah.
something from your own, like something from your own which
Creative.
will teach you the process of game development a little bit.
Mm,
Okay, try to do two or three projects like this, small ones, and then firstly you learn quite a lot. You'll learn a lot, and then you'll have a good portfolio which we can showcase people. Right? You can showcase
yeah.
this to game companies. then you have a much better chance of getting a job. You have to have a focused LinkedIn profile. You have to have a good resume. Okay,
Mm,
all these things are really going to help you if you want to get a game development job, right?
mm.
Also, like I would suggest that you can consider doing a short course in game development a year if you're very serious about it. I'll be honest, there is a lot of scope in the game development. I mean, you are
Mm.
asking me, is there any
Actually,
scope?
I have made a course. I have completed a course in Coursera. It is offering a, like, it has offered introduction to game development.
Right.
That is where I have made. That is when I made these two games, and I have gained some experience. I know everything about the workflow and everything.
Okay.
Like from basic to good understanding.
Okay.
But the main reason is I have not released any game till now.
Yeah. See, if you release it, then you have a little bit more credibility. And don't worry about success and don't worry what will people think and all that kind of thing. You're not doing that at this stage. You're just releasing a little bit, release it. Have some social media posts, share it with a few people, share it with your family, share it with some friends, etc. Get some downloads. Even if you get 100 downloads, that will be a significant learning for you. Okay, and
Yeah.
then in your LinkedIn profile, you can actually show some game development. Right now, you have nothing to show. You're just some guy with a B.Tech who wants to get into a game company. If
Mm.
you actually have these games released on the App Store, you can actually have a trailer. You can have a kind of a link on your LinkedIn profile, and people will actually give you a little bit more credibility because it'll show some experience, right? It shows
Yeah.
something like that. So that's kind of really important. And the other thing, like you're mentioning, if there is scope, there is a lot of scope for game development in India. There are 200, 300 studios now. Many of them
Mm.
are mostly small, but there are some big ones also, and the salaries are very competitive. In fact, if you just go on glassdoor.com and you open one tab and you type like software developer salary, and one you
Mm.
type on India, software developer salary in India, and when you type game developer salary in India, you see that game developers are actually making more money. Okay, the salary is
Okay.
higher. So you'll get it 100% if you have some focus. If you keep working on small projects, if you keep working on your profile, if you keep working on LinkedIn profile, keep working on your learning, you will
Mm.
definitely get a job 100%. And you don't have to worry that salary is less or there is no future. India is one of the world's biggest markets. Mostly right now
Yeah,
it's mobile based, but there is a lot of scope. Salaries are good. You can get promotions. You can go from one company to another if you like at some point for a higher salary.
yeah.
But as long as you need to be good, you need to be competent. And from what I have heard, you're very interested in game development. Like you've actually done a Coursera course. Most people don't even do that. You've actually
Yeah.
done a full Coursera course. You've made some game projects. You've understood Unity. You've done a lot already.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
already done a lot of work, which means that it shows that you're passionate. It shows that if you get a job, you'll really, you'll do well. You'll perform. Also, you're a gamer. Like people who are gamers who like to make games, they
Play
usually
game.
do they usually do well in the game industry. And people who do a little bit of extra, put extra effort and have extra competency, they rise quite fast. Okay,
Yeah.
they get
Uh,
promotions, they get 20-30% salary jumps, but like you have to be good, and I can tell that you are good. Okay, so you have to
okay.
work on your projects and you have to release. You definitely have to release at least one or two. Don't try and do anything so big that it takes you 1 year. Just do like three
Yeah. Yeah.
month project, and if you can get somebody to make some art for you, na,
Mm.
if you can get it, yes. But I mean, you can use assets from the Unity store also. But
Yeah.
people, it's not such a good idea. Okay, because
Yeah.
then you don't
It is more
understand the
like
art
creative.
pipeline. It's better for you to understand if you work with an artist how the art pipeline is, kind of how to make some documentation, how to tell the artist this is what you need to make, and then get those assets and work with them. That is
Mm.
also a learning. If you can get that learning, that's great. Actually, even on the basis of your work till now, I think you can even manage to get an internship somewhere, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
generally, what I would say is that you're on the right track. You're definitely on the right track, and I think you have a very good chance of making it in games and in the game industry. But just focus a little bit on your projects. Focus on releasing them.
Now I am going to share my game.
Okay.
Like these are the boxes which follows you, and
Mm-hmm.
these are the coins we need to collect. And if they both if they both collide, they will destroy itself. And if we restart, I have loaded from second level. Sorry.
This is really cool, man. I think this is really nice in the sense that I mean, at the moment you have programmer art, you know, and in fact, you don't even have to make anything else. You can just work on the same game. You just have to have some proper art. You have to probably download
Mm,
some art. You have to improve the art. It's programmer art right now, but I can see you actually have sound. You actually have some.
Actually,
You have some.
I am learning Blender from YouTube tutorials. I am presently learning Blender,
That's fantastic, man.
my
I mean,
own game.
that's so impressive. I'm really impressed. Like you know Blender, you know Unity. You have implemented music. You've implemented a basic UI. You've already designed some levels. So like that's amazing. Like that's really good work that you've done so far. You know what I mean? So I think you've
Yeah.
gone about 80% of the way. Only 20% of the polish is remaining. So take the same game. Don't need to make anything. Take the same game, kind of fix the camera in a better place, implement some art, do a little bit of work on the art, and just release this game. Release, even if you release 10 levels, even if you release
Okay.
10 levels, that's great. But just get it out there. Don't be too don't be shy about like, Array, what will people think and all that. Don't worry about that. Release the
Yeah. Yeah.
game, get some people playing your game, and get feedback. And this is something great to showcase. And you should be able to talk about your
Mm,
process. It's not just enough to release the game. You should be able to talk to someone and say, what did you learn? How did you develop it? What were the challenges you faced? How did you overcome those challenges? You should be able to talk um, to a recruiter or somebody taking your interview and explain that, okay, it's not just something you saw some tutorials, you just implemented exactly what's given. So what did you learn? What challenges did you face while making this game, and how did you overcome those challenges? That's what people want to know. So maybe you can
like
make some notes about that. Make,
I
make some
want to
notes
know.
about that. Make some notes about that. So
Yeah.
when this is what people are going to ask you in interviews.
Like those people were looking for people who are motivated in in these situations, or those who can overcome those situations, like problem solving and all. They are looking for those people,
Exactly.
right?
They're looking for people like that. They're looking for people like you.
Yeah.
You are very self motivated. I can tell you have done so much on your own.
Okay.
You have probably spent hundreds of hours in self study and in working on projects. So you're a very self motivated person. Okay. I mean,
Yeah. Thank
you've
you.
really done. I think you have done more work than 95% of the people whom I talk to, right? So
Okay.
you've done a lot of work. You've really accomplished a lot. So you need a little bit more confidence, and you need to put it out there. You need to kind of present yourself better,
Mm,
right? You've done
mm.
good work. You need to present yourself. You need to package yourself better.
I need to show my skills out.
Yes, you need to put your skills out there. You need to have a good focused
Yeah.
resume. You need to have a good focused LinkedIn resume, thing, and down release these games. Do a little bit of at least one game. Do a little bit more work. Release this game and put it out there. And then when you approach people, I think you'll have much more success.
Actually, when I'm applying for jobs, they are asking for my personal projects and also work experience.
Haha. So this is when you say personal projects, you'll be kind of getting an entry level job right now, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, go apply for the jobs in which they want freshers, or they want freshers, or they want a little bit of experience, and you can show these projects. You can show that you have worked on these projects, right? And if you can talk well about them, then they'll understand that you have some work experience.
In Unity, there are some topics like game design patterns, like state machines, artificial intelligence. Those all like from developing those skills. Those are very important for this game industry at present. AI
Yes,
is very much.
yes, but those are a little bit more advanced skills.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are a little bit more advanced skills that you can focus on later, right? So it's good to have
Okay.
some knowledge of those, but right now you're probably not going to get a job in those fields. You're going to get an entry level job right now, but you can kind of go towards AI if you want. You can say I'm interested in
Yeah,
AI. I've done a little bit of work in AI, and that will, that will help you. But
yeah.
concentrate on the basics right now.
What would be the revenue from a game studio, like small game studio? How can we generate money and all?
Okay, if you want to set up your own game studio, firstly, I'd recommend getting some work experience, right? It's not just
Mm.
making games, you have to understand the business of games. Okay, the
Yeah,
business
yeah.
of games is a much bigger thing than game development. There's a lot in the game development process. To actually make money from games, to actually have some revenue, you have to be a business person first and you have to be a creator next. Okay,
Okay.
so while it is a good goal to have, no problem. And in fact, if you see my Instagram, you'll see I have another. In fact, he's also from I think he's from Vizag. Also, one of my former students named Satish.
Okay.
He did a B.Tech and then he set up his own studio called Teapot Games, and he has about 10 million downloads. And he's a solo developer, you know. So he has the same
Okay.
story. He has the same story, says similar to you. But he took some time. He took 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and then he started making revenue. So you have to understand the business,
Yeah.
and one way to understand the business is to actually join a company and observe and see what the business of games is like. So if that's a good goal to do, but get some work experience.
Yeah.
And while you're working on the technical aspect, also keep an eye on the business of games, how games make money, how games can be monetized, etc., etc. So keep your eye on that. Thank you so much for
Thank
calling
you very
in.
much.
I wish
Yeah.
you all the best, Chanukya. And I think you have a lot going for you. You seem to be very passionate, developed, and very passionate and very dedicated. And I hope you do well. And I hope to run into you into some studio somewhere soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So
Take
grateful
care.
to have that with you.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.